Ari Lennox is back in the goddamn news again.
God, the good sister Ari Lennox, man.
And look,
Oh
I
man,
felt like we was really gentle with her the first time we spoke. At least I
shake
know I
that
was.
up.
I was extremely because I'm an actual fan of Ari and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But she came in the
God,
news again and she doubled down on how she felt about Martin, which is like, hey, that's your feelings, that's your feelings. But then she came off and she also said a couple months ago, I watched some of Bernie Mac comedy and there's some of his stuff that didn't sit right with me either. And my
Bernie
thing is
Mac.
this,
Oh
right?
Lord.
My thing is this: that better not have been your introduction to Bernie Mac a couple months ago. You better have been saying that you saw something that you never seen before, if that's the context of what you're putting it in.
Right.
Because as someone that's whatever age you are, I don't really care to think about that. But the point I'm making is someone that's been around the block for like that, for you to be talking about Bernie Mac, you should understand the time and the type of comedy that he did. It's abrasive comedy. This
Mm-hmm.
is nothing new in the world of comedy. He's not the first person, he's not the last person that did that type of comedy. But my
Not at
thing is
all.
this: that she said it several times in the clip. I wish I had the clip, but she said it several times that she is sensitive. And my thing is, you can't be sensitive in comedy. You can't
Mm-hmm.
take these jokes personal, regardless if
Right.
they say nappy headed black, this, that, and the third. You can't take this shit personal. It's meant to make you laugh, not make you hurt or overthink some shit.
Yeah.
Most people that overthink some shit is the ones that you know what I'm saying, think like that.
Yeah, most comedians, and the most important thing is right is intention, right? You know,
Right.
if we watch any stand up, obviously, you know, you're not talking directly to anyone. I
Right.
guess again, like you and me, we've had conversations offline about it. You know, when we talked about, we didn't put it in the production meeting today, but we've had
Right.
conversations during the week, about both, how she felt about Martin and Bernie Mac, and
Right.
I mean, listen, me personally, I don't agree with her. I don't think you do either. But I guess maybe she's taking something else from that I'm not taking. I didn't take any of those things. Like I just strongly disagree. I don't know what position and what she's seeing and how she's taking it. Me
Right.
personally, I would assume, and this is an assumption, that she had some things maybe happen going on in her life or in her past, and I think it's triggering something.
Without a doubt.
I don't think nobody kind of, yeah. I didn't take none of that from that.
Well, I
Like
told you my theory with the Martin thing is because she said she could
mm-hmm.
pinpoint specific jokes and shit like that she felt like was attacking Pam, especially on the colorism side of it. But
Mm-hmm.
I felt like people used some of those jokes from Martin against her, and she didn't notice until she actually started watching Martin and realized that's where these jokes came from. And even though the jokes that was said to her by the people that said to her was rooted in colorism, the jokes that Martin said was not. You know what I'm saying? So I need
Mm-hmm.
her to
Yeah.
understand the difference. Whereas though some and now if this shit never happened and I'm just out here reaching, then I'm just out here reaching. But it's just certain
Right.
things that you know what I'm saying that you could just look from a distance and be like, well, maybe this happened and this is why this triggering that person. You know what I'm saying? Because we all been bullied at one point in time in our lives for one reason or another and shit. So I can understand how something like that can trigger her, you know what I'm saying, to think about that shit. But I don't think that as an avid fan of Martin, as a motherfucker that's currently right now watching the Bernie Mac show, shit, I
Right.
can't say that these motherfuckers in any way, shape, or form was disrespectful to black women. If anything, Bernie was the one that was disrespectful to the others. You know
Man,
what I'm saying? The
You know what the
people.
funny thing about Bernie? In a weird way, Bernie Mac show was so PC, bro. Like it was just, it was
Yeah,
like,
facts.
it
Low
was a
key.
fit. It was like a
That
really
was his
like,
whole gimmick and shit.
bro. If there was any such thing, Bernie Mac show could have been on like some Disney After Dark shit. Like pause. I don't
Facts.
know if that's crazy, but not.
That
But
sound wild though.
yeah, I'm sure they're gonna let me know in the comments. I'm sure we do have some of the. To me, we have some of the best engagement in the comment section. Sometimes
No
we've
doubt.
had a crazy, like, good, like, since episode 110. We've had some crazy engagement.
Hell
But
yeah.
either what I meant by that is basically like it was a family show, and a lot of times when you come, especially from a certain, I mean, I don't know about whatever. I just know I can speak on the community and how we came up, man.
Right,
We
no
all
doubt.
had an Uncle Bernie Mac, an auntie, mom, dad, somebody. Like that was just tough love, man. He actually gave a damn about them kids to be on their asses the way he was.
Without a
That's
doubt.
what I took from Bernie Mac. Bernie, if you don't never seen the Bernie Mac show, um, it was basically it was loosely kind of based on his life somewhat, and
Mm.
but bottom line, it really was about him having a sister who fell on hard times, you know, whether it was a drug addiction, whatever the case may be, and he took in three of her kids, two of his
Right.
nieces and his nephew, and you know he's a famous comedian. He's taking them from the south side of Chicago to bringing them to where he is, and just obviously because he didn't have any kids, so it's kind of
Right.
the trials and tribulations of them kind of growing together, and you know them learning to be in each other's spaces and understanding, you know, being there for family and ultimately loving them a lot through tough love, but you know, it all coming together when it counted, man. That was
No,
the
no
real
doubt.
premise of the
He
story. You know
right.
what I mean?
And
I mean, other
he
people
was
might
kind
have
of the
took something
parent
other.
that he was kind of the parent that our parents liked, and you know what I'm saying, on the TV shows and shit. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, that's how you talk to the kids, or that's how, you know what I'm saying.
right.
It's that type of vibe. Whereas though, you always we grew up with the Cliff Huxtables, the Uncle Phil was cool and shit too. But you know,
Mm-hmm.
Bernie would talk shit to you. Bernie, Bernie would really, like, you know what I'm saying, play in your face type of shit. You know what I'm saying, make you look crazy out here in these streets.
Yeah,
He ain't play no games.
it was it's cool because even when you think about it, right? Because I'm bringing it up, it made me think the Bernie Mac show. No, of course, R.I.P. To the legend, you know, Bernie Mac.
Of
But you know,
course.
but it was it was actually a dope family show.
Facts.
You dig
And
what
it
I'm
was funny
saying?
as shit. It was
It
funny
was
as shit.
funny as all hell. You know what I mean? I remember the one episode. I forgot what it was, but it was they lost the boy, his nephew Jordan, and they
Yeah.
couldn't find him. And it's funny because they got back to the crib and he had like a telescope. And I remember him saying, "He's like, oh
Yeah,
Lord, the boy got a rifle because of the glare off the goddamn telescope. He thought he was up there with a sniper rifle. He
yeah,
about to
he
shoot up
started
the
to
whole
turn
neighborhood. The
DC on
boy
you,
got a
boy.
rifle. Yeah, he said the boy got a rifle. He about to shoot that. He said, I know you're mad at me, but don't take it out on the neighborhood. I was in it.
Facts.
The boy got a rifle. He had a telescope. He wanted to see the stars back
Right.
home in Chicago because he basically missed home.
He missed,
That's all it
where he
was.
was at.
Yeah, in that episode. So that's what I'm saying. Like I took it as a family fun show.
It
You
was.
know what
Now,
I
if you're
mean?
talking about his stand up comedy and all that shit, like I said,
Right.
first of
Well,
all,
she
we
said
got
the Bernie Mac show. That's what she said, right?
right. No, well, she said that
What?
she watched
What's
Bernie
your?
Mac recently. She didn't say
Oh,
Bernie
she
Mac
didn't
show.
say this show. Okay,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
In that case, I might stand corrected then. All right,
Right.
cool.
So if it's one of his stand up specials, or if it's his deaf comedy stand up and shit like that,
But
like, you gotta, like I said, you gotta understand, for one, comedy is subjective. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I don't give a fuck about that. But for you to say, oh, he said some stuff that don't sit right with me, then you just don't like that brand of comedy. And then we gotta understand, you just gotta understand, you gotta stay away from that. You gotta stay away from abrasive type, like people like Corey Holcomb. You would probably go crazy listening to that, man. You know what I'm saying? So just stay away from that type of comedy, so you won't have to put yourself through that.
um,
And I don't even think that Bernie was that abrasive. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes to his talk about women, and whether it be sexist or anything like that, you know what I'm saying? So, but
that's
that's her personal
always
opinion. Like I said, bro, I can't invalidate her and shit like that. I just think it's corny that you even going back and trying to look at this shit, and like, you gotta understand that this shit happened in the '90s most of the time. Comedy was so different back then and shit. Like,
right because you're talking to someone who's probably at least a good 20 years, at least your senior when
right,
he was here. And the funny thing is weird. I always thought it was weird when an artist critiques another artist, right? Because if you're a comedian, you are an artist. You write your own material. You know, same no different than a songwriter, a singer,
right,
which Ari
right.
Lennox is. I felt that, and most artists, I forgot who said it. I want to say I might be wrong. I think it was Erica Badu. She said, "No, us artists we sensitive about our shit."
Yeah, Miss Badu. Yeah, yeah.
So I just thought it was
Come on, man.
very weird that Ari would be critiquing someone else's art. You
That's a
dig what I'm
fact.
saying? You know what I mean?
Nah, I agree with that. I agree with
That's
that.
kind of weird to me because someone critique your music and they can be taking something negative away from that. But I'm sure that's not your intention.
Right. Or
But I
something
don't.
literal. And when you're going to say that
Right.
it's art, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. People gotta understand. People gotta understand. When you do something, and you put it out into the world, yes, Ari can feel the way she wants to feel, but you also have to understand you're an artist yourself. And people may
Right.
not agree with certain things you say or certain things you do. And you can say, well, I don't care and don't care, but they don't have to care about your opinion.
Yeah.
I just think, if it's not for you, ma, like, don't accuse people of doing things without actually having a conversation, because it's one thing to go, to the internet and, say how you feel. I mean, but,
Right.
if you can, but if you can reach out to the people, I mean, obviously you can't reach out to Bernie Mac, right? But
Right.
but like,
But
I
I'm
don't
pretty
know,
sure she could have reached out to Tanisha Arnold and to Martin and shit like that.
and that's
And even
crazy
though with
because
these people coming out,
Martin's from DC and she's from DC.
right?
I'm sure, I mean,
But
but
with these people coming out and saying like Pam or Tanisha came out and said that she never took it anyway from the jokes, and then and if it was jokes that she or Martin felt like was too far, they both would say something. And 9 times out of 10, Martin would be the one that say something first. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like anybody was going in there with any type of malicious intent. The whole point was to make the funniest show possible, and I think that
man,
those guys did a hell of a job at that shit. You feel me?
we can't tell people how to feel, but man, it is something kind of it's called having a sense of humor. All right, man, get with it.
Yeah, you can't be
But
sensitive in the world of comedy, boy. That's gonna get you hurt every time. You're gonna be out here looking like Azalea Banks.
yeah, you don't want that.
You
What
better
else we got?
chill.